His friend was dead, right there in the boat, 2 feet away, stiff, silent, gone. And José couldn't let him go, because the moment he pushed that body into the ocean, he would be the only living human for thousands of kilometers in every direction. No land, no ships, no radio, no rescue coming. Just him and the ocean and silence. He had already survived 4 months drifting across the Pacific. He had eaten raw fish with his bare hands, drunk turtle blood when there was no rain, watched his only companion refuse to eat, refuse to drink, refuse to survive, and die in front of him. And still, José stayed alive for 10 more months, alone. 438 days lost at sea. This is a true survival story. November 17, 2012, Chiapas Coast, Mexico, before sunrise. José Salvador Alvarenga, 37 years old, walked toward the water. He had done this his entire life, deep-sea fishing, shark fishing, long hours, low pay. The ocean was not adventure to him. It was routine. It was Tuesday. With him that morning was a young deckhand, Ezequiel Cordoba. Inexperienced but willing, just a young man who needed the work. They climbed into a small fiberglass boat, 7 meters long, open top, no cabin, no cover, no protection from anything. The plan was simple. 1 day out, 2 at most, catch sharks, come home, get paid. It was the last normal day either of them would ever see. They reached the deep water. The fishing was good. Then the sky turned black, not slowly, not like weather you can prepare for, instantly. Wind hit first, then waves, not normal waves, walls of water crashing over the sides, over their heads. The boat was filling. José turned the engine toward shore. The engine died. He tried again. Nothing. He grabbed the radio, pressed the call button. Dead. In minutes, no engine, no radio, no control. The ocean took the boat and started pulling it west, away from Mexico, away from the coast, away from any ship lane, into open Pacific. Search teams were deployed the next day. They found nothing. After a week, the search was called off. 2 fishermen, lost at sea, presumed dead.
Day 1, Day 3, Day 10. The current kept pulling them farther into empty ocean. No ships passed. No planes flew low enough to see them. No one was looking anymore. They had no fresh water, no food stored on board. So José adapted. He leaned over the edge at night and grabbed fish with his hands. He caught seabirds when they landed on the boat to rest. He pulled sea turtles out of the water, broke them open, drank the blood. Not because it wasn't disgusting, because thirst kills faster than hunger. When it rained, he pressed his face flat against the boat's surface and drank every single drop. The small icebox became everything. Storage, shade, storm shelter, the only thing close to a roof. Every day was a negotiation. Find food or weaken. Find water or lose your mind. Stay moving or give up. Weeks passed. No ships, no planes. The Mexican coast was long gone. They had drifted so far west that coming back under their own power was no longer possible. They both knew it. Neither said it out loud. But what I just described, that was the easy part.
That was survivable. José still had a voice beside him, a face to look at, a name to say. That was about to end. What came next was not survivable for most people.
Around month 4, Ezekiel stopped eating. Not because there was no food. José was catching fish every single day. Ezekiel just refused. Raw meat, raw blood, raw fish pulled straight from the water. He looked at it and said, "No, I would rather die." And he meant it. José screamed at him, grabbed him by the shoulders, shoved food into his hands and begged, threatened, pleaded, cried. Ezekiel shook his head. Day after day he shrank. His eyes fell back into his skull. His skin pulled tight over his ribs. His voice went first, then his movement, then his grip. One morning, José woke up. He looked over. Ezekiel wasn't breathing. No last words, no goodbye, no final moment. Just silence in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, with no brave, no ceremony, no one to even know. José didn't move the body. Not that day. Not the next. For 3 days, he stayed right beside his dead friend. He talked to him, asked him questions, whispered things he never said when Ezekiel was alive. Because silence out there is deadly. Silence is where the mind turns against you, where the hours dissolve into each other, where you lose track of your own name, where you begin to disappear. So he kept talking to a dead man because it was the only way to stay sane. On the 3rd day, he stood up, lifted the body, and placed it into the sea. He watched it sink, and just like that, he was alone. Truly alone. No voice, no face, no name being said for 10 more months. 438 days. Count that number. That's not weeks. That's not a bad month. That is more than a year of your life erased. No bed, no shower, no birthday, no conversation, no one saying your name. And he had just watched the only other human being die. What would you do? Here is what he did. He changed. Not the way people change when life gets difficult. The way an animal changes when survival takes everything. He stopped counting days. He started counting meals. Rain, storms. He learned to read the water surface, to see the fish moving below it. He learned exactly how to grip a turtle so it couldn't bite him. He learned how much blood he could drink before the salt content made it useless. During storms, he crawled inside the icebox, cramped, dark, suffocating, and waited. Salt cracked his skin open. Sores formed and never healed. He lost so much weight his clothes hung like rags, then rotted off completely. His body became a skeleton in the sun, but it kept moving. To hold on to his mind, he talked. To the fish as he caught them, to the birds when they landed, to Ezekiel still, even though he was gone, to God, to himself. He invented conversations. He replayed memories from his childhood. He sang songs he barely remembered the words to. He refused to go quiet, because he understood something most people never have to learn. The moment you go silent, you start to disappear.
January 30th, 2014. 438 days after leaving Mexico. The boat scraped something hard. José felt it before he understood it. A drag, a resistance, like the ocean had grabbed the hull. He looked over the side. Coral. He raised his eyes. Land. A tiny island in the Marshall Islands called Ebon Atoll, nearly 10,000 kilometers from Mexico. He tried to stand. His legs buckled. They had forgotten what standing meant. So he crawled, off the boat, across the reef, onto the beach. Local islanders found him, barefoot, burned, hollow, bearded down to his chest, eyes wide like he had forgotten what a face looked like. He could barely speak. He had been talking to fish for 10 months. A real human voice. He didn't know what to do with it. Doctors who examined him were stunned. His body had no right to be functioning. Extreme weight loss, muscle mass gone, organs shrunken. He should have been dead 10 times over. He was not.
Oceanographers later traced the drift. Current models matched his account exactly. Mexican and Marshall Islands authorities verified the story. Every word of it was real. So the question everyone asked, how? Protein kept his body going. Rain kept him hydrated. The icebox shielded him from the worst of the sun. But that's only half the answer. The real reason he survived, he never stopped choosing discomfort. When his body said, "This is disgusting," he ate. When his mind said, "There is no point," he argued back. He watched Ezekiel choose death over discomfort, and he chose the opposite. Every single day, for 438 of them. His survival is now the longest verified ocean drift in recorded human history. Longer than Poon Lim, 133 days. Longer than Stephen Callahan, 76 days. Longer than anyone, ever. Survival isn't dramatic. It's repetitive refusal to quit. When José crawled onto that beach, after 438 days of silence, after watching his friend die, after holding a dead body for 3 days just to feel less alone, what do you say? What are the first words after 14 months without another human voice? Drop your answer below, because I honestly want to know.